Okay, I can't tell you how many times that people have said, fourth level is harder than pre-St. George. I'm just going to do the pre-St. George. Why are they wrong in that statement? There's a couple reasons. The major one is that our expectation at pre-St. George is much higher than our expectation at fourth level. Okay, the degree of collection that I want to see in a pre-St. George horse is significantly different than the collection that I'm expecting at fourth level. Goodbye, Pinky, I love you. Good to see you. She's one of my heroes in life. So that's the major thing. The expectation is not as high. The degree of collection is not as high. You don't have to do you only have to do 3 of each set of changes that you do instead of 5. And let me tell you, there's a big difference between getting 3 and getting 5. Doesn't seem like it, but there is. The pirouettes are working pirouettes. They can be pretty big at fourth level. You do a working pirouette at pre-St. George and you'll be probably a 5 or lower. Okay? So it's the reason people feel that way is because the pre-St. George test is one of the best written tests ever written. It's so fluid and it's so user-friendly that it makes it seem easier. So, with that said, we tried this time around to get fourth level, because fourth level has always been a struggle to make it where people feel like it's in their favor. Okay? So, fourth level test 1. There's not a significant amount of change. However, we did feel in the fourth one that was current until a few days ago, we did feel that the walk canter transition at G was pretty difficult right after the 2 walk pirouettes. You did the walk pirouettes on that line and then you finished the second one and boom, had to pick up the canter to the left. Okay, so if you had it was really challenging. So we decided we wanted to take that out, and the only way we could take that out and make it all flow and keep our lives simple, because we were changing some other tests drastically, is on movement number 10. Everybody turn to movement number 10. At the end of the shoulder in left, which direction do you now turn? Right. It used to be, so those of you who have written fourth level test 1 and intend to write it again, you now turn the opposite direction that you used to. And then the test is just backwards of the way it used to be for the most part. Okay? So that's a little tricky because most people are used to, when they do lateral work, at the end of the lateral work, they're used to turning the same direction that they just finished the movement in. In this test, at the end of that shoulder in, you're going to straighten and turn right. Okay? Everybody got that? Because that's a little bit, that could catch some, I'm sure we'll have some off courses on that. And then the medium canter now, it used to be 2/3 of the long side and is now the entire long side. So those are the major changes. And you don't have to do that canter transition at G anymore. So what level have you been doing?
This one just retired out from Grand Prix.
Oh, well, okay. You would be fine with the canter transition at G then, probably. Are you doing okay warming up wise, or you want more time, or? Okay. All right. Well, we'll have Allie come and introduce you so everybody knows who you are. And then we'll get started. You want to introduce her? She said she's ready.
I'm wired. I'm reading the test to her.
She said she's ready. Oh, you are wired.
Yeah,
Okay.
I am wired.
You want to introduce her first?
So this is Laurel Kerner again, our winner today and our demonstration rider from earlier. This is her Grand Prix horse, Saturnes. How old is he? 19. She just had him only for 3 years and went from second level to Grand Prix and got all 3 medals.
And she did it right and started at second level instead of Grand Prix. Hallelujah. Good for you.
Good job, Laurel. Have a good ride.
Okay. Shoulders slightly to the left in halt, 6.5. First medium trot, a bit cautious, 6.5. Overbent in neck, she's trying to bend for the Grand Prix half pass, 7. A little short in the neck, 7. Could have more cadence, 7. Could have more power, 7. Arrives at rail before K, 6.5. Overbent in neck. She's got the good bend for the Grand Prix half pass, but this one's not as 7. Haunches in, 6. Could have more cadence. And she did a nice job with the turn in the opposite direction, 7. I think her brain was trying to register why, but she pulled it off. Could cover more ground with more reach. 7. Fairly balanced. Tongue out, 6.5. Tilting head, 7. Tension, some jigging, and tongue, 5. Canter could have more jump. Could have more power, 7. And a 7 for the canter transition too, but sorry. Could be more uphill, 7. Could have more expression, 7. Lost lead, 4. Good recovery, 6.5. Whoops, down center line at A.
6.5 in transition.
Down center line at A, half pass to B.
6.5 in transition.
Yep, yep. conscious trying to lead in the beginning. 6. Tension, very short behind. 6. Circle with 5 strides of very collected canter. Gets a little short in the neck, but good sitting. 7. Fairly balanced. 7. Not quite balanced in halt. 6. So I think you probably heard me use the word cadence a few times. Now we're looking for that to start to develop, okay? The horse is for the most part, really on her aids and really obedient, but could have more expression in what he's doing, okay? And that's why there was a lot of 7s, but not up into the 8s much. It's because the expression's not there. And now we're starting to look for self-carriage, cadence, all of those wow factor things, okay? Which when they're at the lower levels, they can't necessarily do as well because they're just trying to figure out where their legs go. All right? Any questions on that test? No questions? Yep. Terry? No, I do not want that. No, perfect halt down the center line. What do I want to see? I want them to stay balanced, so they need to collect as much as they need for the horse to be able to do it. I don't want the horse to slam on the brakes. I want to see 2 legs and 2 ears. Okay, if I can only see 2 legs, that means the horse is really straight. Okay, if I cannot see the hind legs, that horse is really straight. All right, and it's really cool to see when it happens. But I don't want them to overdo the collection to where they like slow the canter to the point. Okay, all right. So, but yeah, you can collect it a little and sit them down. Maybe do 1 or 2 strides of school canter into the halt. Yeah, and then they need to. Boom, out of it, direct into the trot, okay? Not a walk step, not a kind of drag myself into the trot, that kind of thing. When I ask for the trot, unless it's a horse that's really tense, I usually kind of in my mind think medium trot for the transition out of the halt. Because you want to make the judge think you're going to run right over them. Actually, you want them to go, whoa, okay, I'm awake, okay? Get their attention, really. Yeah, but 2 legs, 2 ears is our favorite thing. And it's really important that the quality of the, depending on how they come in, do they come into the trot or do they come into the canter, that the quality of the gaits are also part of it. It's not just the halt all by itself. If you come in a really earthbound canter, that's going to be a modifier to your score. Or if they swap leads before you do the halt. That's not a good thing to have happen either, okay? If your horse swaps leads right before you come in, do you need to fix it? No, doesn't matter what lead they're on. So if they do it outside the ring, doesn't matter. Okay, if they do it inside the ring, I would leave it alone. I would not make them switch back. Because now you have 2 flying changes that I have to consider. You follow what I'm saying? Okay? If you have to be on a particular lead, you have to switch them back. But on the center line, when you're entering, the lead is not defined. So if they swap leads, leave it alone. Okay? Any other questions on this one? You have any questions?
Sorry, I didn't memorize this test. So
No, it was great.
I don't know where I was going.
You did a pretty good job.
Ellie's a good reader.
She was a good reader. Good, thank you. Did everybody notice how she lost the lead in the extended canter on the long side? Okay, because of where it happened, I put it in the extended, but she recovered the lead and showed a little bit of a transition, so it did not affect the transition score. Okay? So as a judge, we have to pay attention to where something goes wrong and what is it really impacting. And then, was it you that got there early? It was you that got there early, wasn't it? Yeah. When she did her diagonal, she got to the pylon, 2 pylons before K. She did not write MXK, letter to letter, okay? So I went down on the transition score because the transition was supposed to be at K, and she was early. Okay? In a Grand Prix, you would have gotten nailed for that. You have before. Look up, look through the windshield, not at the dashboard, right? Yeah, question?
With respect to the letter pylon, where are you when you come into before, just before, at it, where's beyond it?
So could everybody hear what is, where do you get when you're aiming for a letter? Where is it you're supposed to get to the rail? If I was on a diagonal towards R, I would have wanted to be here so that my horse is straight. Or maybe here, okay, if my horse, but I don't want to get here to where it's the butt that reaches the letter, and I don't want to get here to where I get here, and then I have to ride some straight strides to the letter I was supposed to be at. When a horse has a diagonal with like extended canter and then at the corner they're supposed to collect and do a flying change, where are they supposed to do the flying change? On the diagonal at the letter or as they go by the letter? What? Yes, when the nose reaches, ideally it would be right as the horse's nose gets to the letter. And a lot of people do it right here. And you're not going to get a high score doing that. Don't throw, those are the points we call throwing away. Okay, similar to some of the stuff we talked about this morning with geometry at the lower levels. Don't throw those points away. Even if your extended canter is not anything brilliant, show me a transition so I know you know there was supposed to be one. Don't blow it off, because that's throwing away points. Okay? Any other questions on this? Yep, down here.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems that you got less points for the horse having its tongue out. Or, I don't know.
She got less points when the tongue was out? Yes, she did. You are correct. It's considered a submission issue. Okay? I saw it out. It was mostly out in the walk. And then I saw it once in the canter, and then it slipped it back in fast enough. I went, oh, good, I don't have to think about it. Okay? A lot of horses will do it at the walk and not the other gates. It's interesting. To me, I think it's less of a submission issue when they do it at the walk. I think, but we do have to take it into account. It is considered a submission issue. This horse's tongue was not he wasn't like, part of it's because he's 19, you said? Part of it is that the older horses, the teeth don't meet. The teeth don't meet. And the tongue just, there's nothing to hold it in, basically. But that's, I don't get to go, oh, well, he's 19, so I don't have to address it, unfortunately. Yeah. He's a good boy, though, huh? Yeah. You want to say hi? Now the mic's all smooth. Carl's over there going, oh my God.
All right. Oh, another question.
Question. Where was it? Yep. Go ahead. Visual description of cadence. Oh, that one, I don't think I've ever done that one. Cadence is kind of the float that comes in the gait from the suspension. There has to be suspension for cadence. Passage has a lot of cadence. Is a passage trot good cadence? No, okay? Because they're not going forward. If they get passage in the trot, they're coming up off the ground and staying there. They're not going in a good passage. They come up off the ground and they move forward as they're in the air. Okay? So it's the float that occurs from the suspension. I don't have a good, I'll have to work on that though. Rhythm is the beat of the gait. Walk is 4 beats. Trot is 2 beats, canter is 3 beats. That's what the rhythm is. You'll hear the Europeans say the rhythm's too quick. That's because of translation. Okay? But they're talking about tempo, but you'll hear Europeans say that. But it's because of translation issues. It's not because they're wrong, okay? But if you're here in this country and you're talking about rhythm, you are only talking about the beat of the gait and the even and levelness of the gait. Okay? Yep. Oh, yeah, the bend. So, I mean, Stephen Clark, years and years and years ago in one of our judges forums, Stephen Clark, who is the Judge General and one of the best judges that ever lived, was the one doing the seminar, and he said, okay, guys, how much bend does a horse need in the half pass? And everybody started going, 30 degrees a bit, and he's like, the horse should have the bend based upon the degree of the half pass. They should look at the destination. Okay? So if I'm doing a half pass to X, and I point my horse's neck at B, then the horse is overbent in the neck. Okay? Yeah. Okay? So it should have the bend should be relative to the degree of the half pass. So, and she's so used to doing the Grand Prix, and he is too. He went, oh, we're doing the half pass. Okay, here we go. Okay? So it's a little bit, he was trying a little too hard because he knows his job. All right? But riders, bend is highly overrated right now. We either get overbent in the neck or we get no bend. The bend is supposed to be in the rib cage. Okay? The whole purpose of the bend is for them to move this out of the way so this can come under. If there is no bend, the inside hind, the barrel's in the way. Okay? Does that explain that? Any other questions on that?